Cricket Australia has just announced the first test against India has been postponed in the wake of Phillip Hughes' death. Reporter Tom Steinfort joins us now from the SCG. Tom, what more can you tell us?
Look, Georgie, this announcement has literally just come through as we've gone to air tonight. Cricket Australia saying that that first test is postponed but not necessarily cancelled. All this statement says at this stage is that the first test match between Australia and India will not start on Thursday as scheduled. Details around the test match will be announced in the coming days. They say that for now, the players are simply too upset to consider taking the field. And now the other part of this announcement that has just come through relates to the funeral for Phillip Hughes. We now know that that will take place on Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Maxville High School. Qantas says they'll put on extra 737s to get people up there. We also know that there will be a live site here at the SCG broadcasting it on the big screens for everyone, and Channel 9 will broadcast the service nationally. And we know that there will be huge community interest in this, given the huge outpouring of support and sympathy we've seen across the country today. Cricket's darkest day marked by our brightest young stars. Saturday morning junior cricket across Sydney at a standstill. Batsmen in black armbands to remember Phillip Hughes.
So we're going to have 63 seconds of quiet time. We're going to think about today about all the good qualities that this man had, Phil Hughes, okay? So
63 because it was his last.
And 63 was, of course, his last innings for South Australia against New South Wales at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
That number was symbolic throughout the day. Young batsmen retiring once they'd reached 63 runs.
That's it!
At seemingly every cricket match across the country, they paid tribute to the talented young man whose tragic death seemingly has the entire community in mourning.
It means a lot because mine died playing for Australia.
I could see my son was affected by what had happened when I got home from work last night. Had the little bat and the Australian hat out.
So to see them out here today, do the minute silence and then actually play again, I think is really important. And I'm sure that Phil and his family and the Australian cricket community would all want that.
But there was no play at Phillip Hughes' old club, Western Suburbs. Their match abandoned, with players instead holding a wake last night. Arm in arm, heads bowed, they gathered around the very pitch where the left-handed batsman cut his teeth. In his adopted state of South Australia, the flowers piled up as devastated fans queued to sign a condolence book at the Adelaide Oval.
Breaks my heart that he's gone at such a young age and so close to his birthday too.
And there was another condolence book for the Hughes family at the newsagent in Phillip's hometown of Maxville.
Our deepest love, sympathy, condolences go out to you. I can't imagine what loss you must be feeling, but our hearts go out to you.
The Prime Minister paid his respects, joining the Put Out Your Bat tributes by placing his grey nickels out the front of Kirribilli House with a black ribbon tied around it. In Sharjah, all bats were out and players in black armbands as New Zealand faced Pakistan. Black Caps players clearly traumatised by this week's events. Their bowlers made a point of not sending down any bouncers, and wickets were marked with an eerie silence.
Edged and gone. No celebration, no emotion at all.
Our oldest foes also paid their respects.
It's been a really sad day yesterday, a tragic day for cricket, and words I say here isn't going to do anything justice really. Incredibly sad change room for us, and obviously all our thoughts are with Hughes' family and obviously those Australian players.
And perhaps an indication of just how far-reaching this tragedy has become is an even more notable message of sympathy from England overnight. The Queen sending her condolences to Phillip Hughes' parents. Remarkable to think Buckingham Palace reaching out to a humble family from the bush. Across countries and across sporting codes as well. At last night's A-League match in Melbourne, a cricket bat was laid for a minute's silence before kick-off. But then one of those hair on the back of your neck moments. As the match clock hit 63 minutes, the game simply stopped.
And as we go past the 63-minute mark, the crowd at Amy Park rise as one and offer applause in memory of Phillip Hughes.
For a whole minute, they just stood and clapped. A stunning demonstration of how one young man has touched an entire nation. Tom Steinfort, 9 News.